it's kind of interesting to think about the context of the world that this album was coming into.
Right.
Now, speaking of Iron Maiden, the album that was out, that Iron Maiden had out at the time, was Power Slave.
Yeah.
Stay Hungry came out the same year.
Right.
Which is like as polar opposite as you can get.
Right, from Queensryche, yes.
You've got Ratt, that's got Out of the Cellar, that's coming out.
Kiss Animalize.
You got Animalize. You have you've got Defenders of the Faith, Judas Priest, which is a little more in the mainstream metal, but it was nothing like this. You've got Ronnie James Dio, Last in Line, that's come out. And the reason I wanted to mention these other things from a context standpoint, since we're talking about the release of this album in that period as they're getting ready to put it out, is that they were, outside of Iron Maiden, but when you look at the United States, which is where they were filling a void in some ways.
Right.
They were not like that, like the picture on the inside there. Who else would have pictures like that of their band?
Yeah.
They were just not the same as everybody else. They were in this different little universe.
Yeah, in fact, it was a time when all these bands were on MTV, and they all kind of had that glam look. And I think Queensryche was trying to just have just enough of the look, but they separated themselves and maintained that little harder edge and metal look.
And another one, this MTV the same year is Van Halen.
Yeah, 1984.
So again, this is the world that this band is coming into.
Yeah.
And that's actually a really great point, because MTV at this point is 3 years old. And at this point, it is mainstream. I mean, Twisted Sister, for example, We're Not Gonna Take It. We mentioned earlier, that song. We're not going to take it. Yeah,
take
exactly.
It. Right.
Anybody knows that anthem. That's and that was MTV.
Right.
MTV made them.
Right.
And so Queensryche's coming out in the MTV's taken off, and you've got all these bands that really do have, especially like a band like that and Ratt, it's image bands.
It was all image, pretty much. Yeah.
And then these guys are coming into that world. And then there's a bunch of us that are waiting for this album to come out. And then I'll tell you something, just that when I put this album on, and I heard warning, 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 and then the whole thing kind of kicks in. That did rock me a little bit. That was pretty killer.
So I got to tell you, the song I love the album start to finish, but the song that got me to be a big Queensryche fan and got me into this album was "Take Hold of the Flame," and it's that note that he hits. Well, right, and we all convinced ourselves we could hit it when we were driving in the car alone, but I don't think any of us hit it.
And then he goes
to another register.
Yeah.
Yes.
You go, dude, whoa.
Yeah. That made you focus more on the vocal than anything when you listen to Queensryche.
And then at that point, if you didn't understand that Geoff Tate was a master singer at that point.
Right.
If you didn't know it before,
now you
all of a sudden you're like, okay.
Yeah, now I do.
This is
new level.
This is the man.
And he's coming into the realm of Bruce Dickinson and the metal god Rob Halford. Yeah. These are already really good singers hitting high notes. Steve Perry's around at that time.
That's right.
He's taking things to a new level with. I mean, he had some stiff competition. I think he hung right in there.
That's actually a really good point, because Bruce Dickinson, because I was thinking at that time, Bruce Dickinson is like, how do you beat Bruce Dickinson?
Right.
And as everybody who watches this channel knows, I'm a huge Judas Priest fan at that point.
Right.
I still think Scream for Vengeance is one of the greatest albums ever made. And then you have Defenders of the Faith after that. And so both those things are out. So I'm already, Rob Halford's the most amazing singer in the world. And then this guy shows up coming out of Seattle. Like, where's this dude coming from? And
which I can say, living there, we were still not really on the map yet. I mean, of course, people know where Seattle, Washington is, but we weren't a big city at that point. We weren't talked about. We weren't really known about. Microsoft hadn't taken off yet. We hadn't had the big influx of people. So this big of a band coming out of that small little town is a pretty big deal.
I remember when I first heard about them, that was part of the story. These guys are from Seattle.
Yeah.
And then you start doing the math in your head, like, well, Hart.
And you can go to an even smaller town, which was Bellevue, which most people outside of the Seattle area don't even know about, which was, and we'll talk about Bellevue
like the suburb
later.
that they were actually from. One other thing, and I know we talked about this on a recent video, was this song NM156.
Oh, that's awesome.
And to me, and I think what we were talking about Rage for Order, and I had made some comments, and a bunch of people had commented back about this, that song, to me, that was the tune when I heard it on this album that was like, it was almost like we were getting ready for Rage for Order.
Yeah.
When I heard that one, because it was so, like, what am I listening to right now? It was so experimental. It was so different. The way he would sing it, the way the lyrics, the what they did with his voice. It was
there were
so
some keys
cool.
in that song too, if I remember right. Some
Yeah,
keyboards in that song.
It did feel a lot more
progressive
machine-like.
and machine-like. Yeah, it was very
so
staccato,
cool.
very
Yes.
staccato, very staccato keyboard part that made that song. Yeah.
Have we come too far to turn around? It's emotion. I mean, it's
yeah, it's phenomenal.
really great stuff. So anyway, let's jump into this. Let's jump into this article real quick. And like I said, I think you'll find this really fascinating. What they have to say.